Hello everyone. I would like to welcome you all to our Women.Tech live session. Women.Tech is a professional platform to help women achieve their dream careers. Today we have with us our guest speaker Gayathri Prabhu. She is an optometrist, counseling psychologist, as well as a school counselor. So we're very happy to welcome her.
Uh, First, welcome everyone for the session. The very fact that you're attending a session on stress management or to understand the strategies of various ways to manage stress indicates that you have identified there are some stresses. Every one of us have stressors in life, but the fact that we understand there are stresses and we take one step forward to manage it itself is a positive direction to start with. So first, I appreciate everyone for joining in, and you can pat yourself on the back because this is one step that you have taken in the right direction, right? Um, Two things that I would like to start with. Number one, as I already mentioned, sit with a pen and paper because we'll be doing some activity during the session. The second thing is, since it's a closed group and we'll be doing a little bit of experience sharing, wherein people will share their individual personal experiences. I would appreciate if we are more of an empathetic listener, and at the same time, we are a little non-judgmental and we listen to them with an open mind. All right. With this, we start. Again, before we get into the topic, dive into the topic, a simple grounding technique. This will help you come into the present moment. It's, I guess, in India, it is 9:30, 9:40 right now. So it is different for all of you are joining from different time zones. So, but somewhere in the middle of the day. So let's clear out the clutter and bring ourselves into the present moment. So in this, I would request all of you, wherever you're sitting, appreciate 5 things that you can see around you, 4 things that you can touch from the place where you're sitting, 3 things that you can hear around you, and 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. So you're doing this all sitting in wherever you're sitting and trying to just appreciate the environment that is there within near you. Now, as you do, if possible, if you can just type in what is it that you could do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 5 things that I can see at the moment. I see a lamp,
Yeah.
a monitor, a mouse, a keyboard, probably a ring that I'm wearing.
Great.
Yeah.
And 4 things that you can touch.
Things that I can touch, my phone.
Yeah.
I touch the table, probably my charging wire,
Okay.
and my mouse. Yeah.
All right. 3 things that you can hear around you right now.
Right now, the things I can hear is your voice.
Okay, fair enough.
What you can hear, there are not any animals, so I guess it's pretty silent here.
Okay.
And
The breathing sound, your breathing sounds.
yeah,
No.
I can
Okay.
hear a bit my
Okay.
breathing sound.
Hmm.
And
2 things that you can smell around you.
probably the food that I just made for lunch.
Okay. Okay.
And perfume. Yeah.
Perfume. And 1 thing that you can taste at the moment.
The food that I had for lunch, probably. It still
Okay.
has
Okay.
taste. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. See, and how do you feel after having done this? You did this in a matter of, say, about 1 or 2 minutes. And how do you feel in terms of your thoughts, whether it has calmed yourself, it has slowed down your thoughts?
I do feel that I'm acknowledging my present moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I felt like. Okay, I'm acknowledging where am I and what I'm actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great. So basically, the reason I start with one of these techniques is so that you can acknowledge the present moment and you can calm down your thoughts and be in the present moment. All right. So now we'll dive into the topic. So what I usually like doing is before we proceed to the management or understanding the strategies, we need to understand the term stress. We need to understand what are the various factors which cause stress or which may be causing your stress, and how it impacts your health, both your physical health and your mental health. So we'll understand these 3 things before we jump into the various strategies. So as we all know, all of us experience stress. some at a higher level, some at a little lesser level, but all of us at some point in our life have experienced stress. And it's basically a state of worry or mental tension or excessive thinking or anxiety that it causes whenever we are approached by a difficult situation, or whenever we face a challenge, or whenever we are facing a problem. So that is stress. So when it comes to stress, you might have all noticed that not all stress is bad for us, right? So probably during exams, little before our exams, if we are a little worried or if we are a little stressed, it does acts as a motivator. It helps us prepare better for that situation, and that thereby we are able to tackle the situation better. So not all stress is bad. So it's all a sort of balance. Whenever the balance tips off and you tend to worry more, that is when the stress starts to impact our health, be it physical health or mental health. And again, stress is something which is very individualized. So it's what is stressful for me as a situation may not be stressful for any of you. And it will be the other way around also. Some situations which may be stressful for you may not be the same for the other person. So each stress or each situation has a different impact on an individual. It all depends on the person's personality traits, how their thought process is, how their physical health is, how their immediate environment is, or in general just the kind of coping methods that they have. So the thing to understand here is stress in itself is a very individualized or a personal process or state, and the response to it, the coping of it, or the techniques that would help you manage that stress will again be very personal or very individualized. So it will all be based on the factors that are present for you in your current situation. All right. So moving on, we will now look at few factors or few stressors that we generally have in our life. So you can generally put it into three brackets, broadly into three brackets: the personal stresses, the environmental stresses, and something known as the situational stresses. So the personal stresses are generally our personality traits, the individual person's character. It could be the mindset, their general attitude towards life, their thinking process. So all those comes under your personality traits. Otherwise it could also be health conditions. So if somebody who's physically unwell, they are having some pain, it could be back pain or a headache. In that situation, when they are presented with a problem in life, they might not be able to deal with that situation in a positive manner. So the current your health condition also has a lot of impact on how you deal with stress. Obviously your lifestyle, the current life we all live in, it is always there's a lot of work, there is a lot of things that we want to get done in a day. We put our hands into a lot of things: work, friends, social commitments, and housework. Everything combined together, it becomes a little overwhelming. So our lifestyle, as to how we go about our daily life style, whether we have healthy sleeping habits, whether we have healthy eating habits or not, all of these also have a great impact on the stress that we experience in our life. The coping skills. Moving on to coping skills, this is again how we deal with stress or how we deal with problems when we are presented with it. Now, this all depends to a large extent. There are healthy coping skills, there are unhealthy coping skills. So healthy coping skills are where you deal with the situation, you manage the situation, you manage your emotions well, you try and solve the problem, you don't run away from the problem, you don't get start putting the blame on someone else for the problem that's there in your life, or you don't start just giving excuses. So the last three that I mentioned, they are generally the unhealthy coping mechanisms, where we don't hold ourselves accountable for what is happening in our life, but try and try find an excuse for it, or try and put on the blame onto someone else, or get addicted to certain substances. So these are the unhealthy coping skills. The next would be your environmental factors. Work comes first, because there is a lot of work-life balance that is causing a problem in current day scenario. It could be work, it could be academic pressures. In either of these cases, there is a lot of workload, and we are not able to properly balance the time between the kind of work we do and the amount of time that we are devoting for our self-care, or just rejuvenation, or just simple taking some time off and relaxing and calming your mind. So that, how stressful is your work environment, that is an important factor. the kind of social pressures that are there in your life, that could also be a factor. Here in social factors, I would like to press upon the role of social media. In the present day scenario, social media plays a very important role. We look at Instagram, we look at Facebook, even WhatsApp status, reels on YouTube, and we end up comparing our life with others. And somehow, even though our life is going great, we feel that there is something that is still missing. How is it that the my friend or someone else whom I'm following is able to have a better life, or how are they able to enjoy so much where I'm struggling? Because those kind of comparisons are inevitable given the exposure we are bombarded with these days. So that somehow has a lot of impact on some of the stress that we experience nowadays. Financial concerns again is one another issue which is probably a factor for inducing stress. Now, if you look at situational factors, major life events, it could be the life events here we would mention would be some accident or some injury that has happened to self or somebody in the family. It could be a loss of a relative or a loved one in the family or immediate social circle. It could be somebody who is going through a stressful relationship. It could be a separation or a divorce related matter. So these are the sort of major life events, or it could also be a transition. It could be a transition from one city to another. So those life events sort of brings about an unpredictability along with it, and that handling that change or that unpredictability or the unknown that you're going to enter could be stressful for some people. It is stressful for everybody, but it will be more stressful for few people. These are some of the situational factors that we are looking at. Okay, and now, all these could be the potential stressors that are there for people in their lives. Now, for many of us who are working, right? For many of us who are working, the basic stressors in life could be work-related stressors, could be long working hours. It could be salary-related issues, or it could just be the fact that you are working with a team, but then the team is not very cooperative, or there is conflict within the members, or your manager is not very supportive, or you're doing a lot of work but then you're not getting the credit for it, or it is just the fact that you're not able to manage the time properly to finish the and complete the task with the use for the deadline that is provided. So these could be some of the workplace stresses. Now, here again, it can further be classified as your task demand. What is it that your work demands? So, is it excessive workload? Is it job insecurity that is creating a stress for you? If it is role, it could be that you are potentially in a role which the profile describes the role, but then you are not very clear as to what are the work or what is the task that you need to do, and there is not a clear demarcation on things that you are supposed to do and what the other team member has to do. So those kind of situations can possibly create tension and stress in work. It could be just the physical environment, probably your desk, the cabin or the desk where you're sitting, it's not appropriate for your height, or you're not getting enough light, or there is no proper ventilation around. So that could be a stress factor. And the last one is the interpersonal demands. As I said, how you're able to deal with people around your workplace, whether you're able to gel well with the team members, your team leader, your boss. All of this has an impact on both the kind of stress you experience, and it also has a yeah. Okay, it also has a lot of impact on the way you can manage the stress. All right. Now I'll move on to this. Now that we have discussed the various stresses, all right, we can actually further classify these stresses into internal ones and external ones. Here, I would just pause and would want to know, are you okay with this pace? You want me to go slower, or is this fine? If someone can just quickly respond to this.
I feel the pace is fine.
The pace is fine, right? Okay, thanks. All right. Now, when it comes to stressors, it's you have two kinds, internal and external. The internal ones are the factors that are under your control. So these are certain things that you experience and you have control over it. It is the way you think, your expectations versus reality. What is that equation? The negative self beliefs or self talks that you have the kind of mental chatter that keeps happening, the thoughts that keep coming in your head, the uncertainty around whatever is happening, the thoughts that come out because of that, all of those are internal factors. I mean, those are the factors that are happening within you and you have a control over them. Whereas external factors, these are mostly the factors which are outside of you, or they are within your immediate environment. It could be the workload, it could be the financial stress, it could be family responsibilities or conflicts within family or within friends, or the lack of support that you receive from the immediate circle that you have. So all these are the external factors, and generally you don't have much control over them. All right. You can possibly take an action to um, have an impact on these external factors, but mainly you don't have control over them beyond a certain point. Okay. So these are in brief the various factors that cause stress. All right, now what I want you to do is, I hope everyone is ready with your pen and paper. I want you to draw yourself first. You can, depending on how creative you are, you can just draw as a smiley, or you can draw a complete person, but just picture yourself, draw a picture of yourself, and spend 2-3 minutes to try and identify what your stressors are. You can either put it as a cloud as is shown on the slide, or you can just jot down it under the various factors. What are um, the factors that are potentially causing you stress, probably in the last 1 month or the last 3 months? Try and jot that down. So
Yeah.
shall we proceed now? We'll come back to this, keep it with you, we'll come back to this towards the end once again.
Yes.
Right, let's proceed with it. Yes. Now, the next, now that we have seen what is stress, what are the factors that um, cause stress, we'll now look at how it affects our health. So, stress can basically have an impact. Have Depending on for how long you have been having a stress, it could be an acute impact or it could be a chronic impact. So acute is something where it is you have been experiencing stress for say 3 months to 6 months, and a chronic impact on health is, it is said to be a chronic impact when you have been experiencing the stress for more than 6 months. All right, this is a rough approximate time line, and the effect on stress is both on physical health, in terms of physical health, because there are a lot of hormonal changes and there is a lot of other impact on your health. You experience weakness, you experience fatigue, tiredness, you are having headaches towards the end of the day, or sometimes in the middle of the day. You end up having tense muscles, or you feel your muscles are becoming tight. You end up having spasms, you might have neck pain. You might have also noticed that during when you are stressful, or during a phase when the stress is high, you are more prone to allergies, you're more prone to viral infection, cold, cough, because it brings down your general immunity levels. You feel as if you sweat more, you're palpitating, which means your heartbeat is increasing. Or you also feel that if you are on the say middle-aged or on the higher side of the age band, then you will also feel your BP is getting affected, your sugar levels are getting affected. So all these are the physical impact of stress. Now it also has a mental health impact or psychological impact. Here it affects your mood. You feel your mood, there are mood swings. You feel low at times, you feel anxious at times, you feel irritated, you feel frustrated, and sometimes when you're very stressful, the slightest of the things might irritate you or set you off. So those kind of mood swings are generally there when you're stressful. When it comes to your thinking pattern, you generally would have noticed that when you're stressed, you're not able to think clearly. You're not able to think in a positive manner. So there is a lot of self-doubt that comes in. There is a lot of negative thoughts that come in. There is a lot of repetitive thoughts that come in. So all these impact the kind of judgment that you make. You end up making at times impulsive decisions when you're stressed. So these are some of the psychological impact. And not to mention, many a times you end up losing interest in a lot of activities that you were interested at one point. You don't want to interact much socially, you tend to close down. And it also has a lot of impact on your sleep cycle, and you end up feeling because one day you don't sleep, 2 days you don't sleep, third day again it once your sleep is affected. From the fourth day onwards, it is very reflective on your mood. It automatically kind of reflects on the way you think, the way you react to situations. Now, this is another slide which just gives you a brief of the different issues, health issues that you face when you are stressed out. And some of these are acute stress related conditions that you that comes about. There are more chronic ones wherein you end up having high blood pressure, you end up having fluctuating sugar levels, hormone imbalance. So these are low immunity levels. All these come more under the chronic levels. Okay, so now that we have discussed the fact what is stress, what are the factors, and how it affects our health, let us now move on to what are the effective managing techniques. But before we move on to that, I would like all of you to mention, now that you have listed the factors on your papers, that what are the factors that induce stress for you, what are your stressful situations. You can also mention beside it what are these physical changes that you see when you are get stressed, or what are those psychological changes that you see when you get stressed. Just mention that also along the factors. You can mention what is it that you experience. Is it difficulty concentrating that you feel when you are stressed? Do you have issue with making decisions, or do you have issues with being more irritable, or does it affect your sleep? All those pointers you can just add up and jot down besides your factors. Now moving on, stress management. Generally, there are a lot of coping skills that we talk of, but primarily I would like to stress on emotion focused coping skills and problem focused coping skills. So emotion focused coping skills are something wherein you focus on immediate boosting your state of mind. In the sense, it gives you a quick a sense of calm. It calms you down at the present moment. It also gives you a quick fix sort of a situation to manage your stress. So it is more focused on your emotions, making you feel happy or making you feel calm, right? And it helps to soothe you down for the time being. So it is a temporary coping skill. Whereas the problem focused coping skill is addressing the problem or finding out the cause for your stress and addressing that head on. All right. So the problem focused coping skills mainly focus on the issue, the causative factors, and you are trying to address those issues by applying various skills. And for emotion focused, it is you're focusing on your mood and trying to elevate your emotional state of mind at present. So it is there is nothing like this is better or that is better. Generally, whenever we need to manage stress, we need to use a bit of both. There are some situations wherein emotion focused coping skills will help us manage our current state better, and in some situations you need to be more problem oriented and you need to tackle the cause, the root cause, because that will give you a permanent solution. So now we'll start with one by one in a bit more of a detail. So I'll start with emotion focused coping skills. Let me go down from here. Yeah. So in emotion focused coping skills, we know we are stressed and we are basically devoting some time for self care. So you do all those things which will help you feel better. So it means taking care of your physical self. It would be just take time to take some hot bath, to drink something which will immediately lift your mood. It would be hot chocolate or coffee, tea, anything, or a green tea, whatever would help you lift your mood. Or it would be since all of us are girls and women, I know probably having a haircut done or getting going for a facial or getting a spa treatment, anything that would help relax yourself and make you feel better will be coming under the self-care part. So you can, it will be again different for different person. So everybody will have their own way, but then you'll have to identify what is it that works for you and try and use that as a method. The other one would be to engage in a hobby. So you could try and figure out what is it that you love doing, and something that brings joy to you, and take off that time. If not, it becomes difficult for everyone to take out that time on a daily basis, but at least we can do it weekly once, or once in 2 weeks, once a month. you need to take out that time and engage in a hobby that would bring happiness to you. So for me, it is a mandala or coloring or baking. It could be different for all of you, but try and engage in a hobby that brings joy. The next is physical activity. There is no doubt about it. Given the kind of desk jobs we are in these days, any kind of physical activity immediately helps elevate your mood. So, and especially if you're able to do in sunlight, wherein you're able to walk, take a walk in nature, where when and get exposed to sun, it is best. That is a morning walk. If not, you could also hit the gym, meditate, do yoga, take any sport which you are interested in, but do some kind of physical activity. And this again, if not daily, it's great if you can do daily. If not daily, at least 3-4 times a week, engage in half an hour of a physical activity, but try and do this. It will definitely help elevate your moods. And this is also very essential for you to balance your sleep cycle and normalize your circadian rhythm as well. Other technique is any kind of relaxation technique. You could do breathing exercise. You could, one of the techniques is what we saw at the start, the grounding technique. We'll do two more during the session. You could do an aromatherapy, just light a scented candle, which will help calm your senses. You could write a journal. Nowadays you also get these guided meditation small videos, which you have a lot of them on YouTube. You could probably select one of them and sit and do that, the process that they ask you to do. It's basically breathing, and they ask you to relax your mind and focus on the narration they're giving. So that could be something you could try. So it is, as I said, most of these strategies are individualized strategies. Some will work for one person, something else will work for the other. So it's always a trial and error, and it is an ongoing process. So in one situation, one particular thing will help. In the other situation, something else might help. So you should always be open to doing a trial and error and see what works for you. Writing a journal, for example, is something that does wonders, and it is very good. I personally do this a lot, and I would also encourage all of you to write a journal, especially if when you're confronted with any situation, or when you're usually feeling low. Try journaling out your thoughts. You could do it daily, you could do it weekly, or you could do once a month. It's ideal if you could do daily or weekly. And or even you could if you don't have time to do any of it, you could just do it when you are challenged with a problem. Just note down the thoughts. What are the issues that you have? What is going on in your life as of now? What is it that you are happy about? That could and what are the things that are happening good in your life? Just jot it down. What happens is, when you write down, there is a lot of things that come in the mind, but the moment you start writing it down, it automatically puts in a structure to that. So it improves the clarity of thoughts. And when you always write about the things you're grateful for, or the good that is happening in your life, it also brings a sense of calm, that yes, there are certain aspects in my life which are going good. I know some things are not going good, but not everything is bad. So that sort of a understanding comes into us. And when that comes, you're then ready, and you are more positive towards handling the stressful situation. And that's why journaling is a very good thing that would help you with coping your stress. The next is to practice mindfulness. Here again, it's some breathing techniques. You can also do meditation. You could use the guided meditation videos, or there are apps available these days which you could download and use those. And they help you bring you to the present one, give you a little bit of calmness in your thoughts, and they play a great that's a great tool. And if you actually enjoy doing it, it's a very good way to sort of calm yourself down. One of the techniques we'll just try out now. So I would want every one of you to sit straight, right? Just close your eyes, sit straight, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. When I mean deep breaths, from your belly onwards, from the stomach, inhale deeply and then exhale, and do it 3-4 times. Okay, and when I say start, you will then start following my instruction. My instruction would be very simple. I will ask you to breathe in for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I ask you to hold your breath again for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I will ask you to exhale or breathe out on the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, I'll ask you to again hold your breath for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is the box breathing thing, and this helps you calm your mind. All right, shall we start? Okay. Close your eyes. Start. Inhale deeply. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's repeat. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in again. Now you can slowly open your eyes and breathe in normally. Okay, so this is a simple technique known as box breathing, wherein you do it on the count of 4. Here I'm giving instructions, but when you close your eyes and just follow your breath and do this counting, you will notice that you are automatically, your mind is just going on the counting sequence and it is focusing on your breath, and that helps calm you down. So this is one relaxation technique that you can use on the go, wherever, anytime you feel stressful. If you're anxious about any situation, before you have any presentation or something, you have to present a talk in front of your team members, or any other situation where you feel tensed up, just do this and this will help you calm down quickly. Okay. With this, these till now what we discussed were the emotion focused coping skills. All right. Any questions on this before we move ahead? Anyone? Or shall we keep the discussion towards the end?
I guess discussion towards the end will be good.
Towards the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we will go on to the problem focused coping skills. So as I mentioned earlier, here we are looking at identifying the problem. We have already identified the problem. We know the cause for the stress. Now we are looking at tackling that problem. Okay. So if suppose I'm telling that there is a work that I need to complete by a particular time. There is a deadline given to me. So how will I handle that? And I'm getting stressed about it. So the best way is that work I divide it into small chunks. Create a to-do list. Okay, these are the work is split into smaller chunks, and this chunk I will complete it this week. This part I will complete today. So create a to-do list. All right, and that will help you focus on that small part first, complete it to the best of your capabilities, and then move on to the next. So once you are able to complete one by one, that automatically boosts your confidence and reduces down your stress levels. So it helps both in addressing the problem and to some extent solving it. Create healthy boundaries. By creating healthy boundaries, what I mean is, as women, generally we tend to be people pleasers. It is difficult for us to say no, whether it is to some excess workload that comes our way, it is some household chores that come our way, it is some sudden social event, or any other relatives call, or any other family situation which is coming. Many times it is difficult for us to say no, and we say yes to a lot of things unknowingly. And when we pick up a lot of work, and that definitely increases the stress on us. So we are not able to complete certain things, that puts pressure on us and ends up tiring us. So it's always better, instead of taking too much, it is always better to know where your limits are and put a healthy boundary around that. So that will help to reduce down the stress levels a lot. So you need to learn to be assertive and start saying no. That's a practice that you can develop slowly. It is not something that it is easily it comes to many. I have had my fair share of difficulties with it, but now finally I'm able to manage things better. So I guess everyone has to work out their own boundaries and try to manage those boundaries. Now, you should also be able to have a good time management ways, wherein one simple way in which you can be able to manage your time better is by having a structured routine, creating a to-do list for everyday activities, or at least the weekly activities. And second, if you are working on something which is a project or some goal, try and do divide the goal as smart goals. Something we called as smart goals is S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for realistic, and T stands for time bound. So when you, whatever the goal is it that you're trying to achieve, when you chunk it down or break it down as per these, and set small targets which are achievable and which are time bound, then you will be able to manage your time better, because each time you put a tick to the small chunk that you've finished, it helps boost your confidence. It helps you know that yes, you're in the right direction and you're able to tackle that particular work better. And at the end, you have tried all of this, but you still feel that you're stressed, you're not able to cope with the stress, then you also need to build a support system around you, a support system which could include family members, it could be friends at workplace, it could be a mentor from college or from anybody at your work whom you look up to, who these should be people who positively motivate you, encourage you to be a better person, right? Both in terms of your career and in your personal life. So you could seek support from them. And even after all of this, you are not able to manage, then seek help from a professional counseling psychologist or a clinical psychologist. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are some situations wherein we know what is the cause, but we may not be able to handle that cause head on, or we may not be able to do anything about that cause. So that is where we need to balance between the two kind of coping skills, the emotional and the problem focused. We need to sort of bring a balance in places where we cannot tackle the situation directly. You need to do more of emotion focused coping skill, wherein you need to be using strategies which help you manage your emotion and your thinking in a way that you'll be able to handle the cause a little better, or handle the stress in a better way. Now, the final is, as I was talking, we need to create healthy boundaries. So all we can do is be assertive as much as possible, wherein we know that we need to set our limits. Learn to say no, safeguard your space, both emotional, work-related boundaries. Say, be clear what you can, what you want, what you don't want, what is it that you can tolerate, what is it that you don't want to, and try and have those boundaries, clear boundaries for yourself. Get support wherever needed, whenever needed. Don't feel that what will others think, they'll think I'm weak, they'll think I'm not capable. Don't think about that. Just ask for help. Ask for help from people you trust, or people you feel will motivate you to become a better person, or will actually understand and give you more constructive feedback. Get support from them. And try and also create a circle. It may not be a large circle, it could be just one or two people, but then create that circle where you could seek support from. And that's it. That's about the various strategies that you can use to manage your stress. I would stop with this. There is one more breathing technique which I would want to do if time permits. Manasa, what do you say? Should we continue with this, or we do with the question answers?
I think we proceed with the questions because
Sure,
it's
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
the time.
I will
Um,
stop sharing now then,
yeah, and
except for this. I'll stop it with this. I'll put it on this.
okay.
So this is the final thing I want you to do, wherein you had identified the factors, you had identified how it affects you. Now that you've seen all the strategies that would help you, I would want you to try and figure out what are the what coping skill or what coping mechanism would help you tackle your problems in a better way. Yes, now we can take up the questions.
So before we move to the personal questions, I would like to thank Gayathri Prabhu ma'am for the wonderful session, and I'm sure it will be extremely useful for our Women at Tech community. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Manasa. Yeah.